left rear tire down. Paul Menard becomes the lucky dog here, and they were in the middle of a restart, and then question 7 came in, and this was because let's see here. Yeah, see what happened was Casey Kane started spinning, and then they brought out the 93 car. Who I forget who drives the 93 car, but that would bring out question number 7 as the cars were crossing the line. So that, and then finally get back to green at lap 335. And what was going on here at the podcast center? We were watching 2 races at the same time. At this point, Sunday's IndyCar event started, so now I had my eyes on both races, which was kind of interesting. But Kurt Busch leads the pack into the restart after question 7. So you had Kurt Busch in front, Kyle Busch second, Kevin Harvick third. So and then you had that 4 wide going on between the 83, the 14, the 95, and the 38. Carl Edwards climbed back up into third, Harvick down to fourth. So you had Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch, Carl Edwards, Kevin Harvick running first through fourth at lap 345. Then Carl Edwards climbs into second. And then you had another question number 8 for Brian Scott, and the restart with lap 364. And then Kyle Busch still in front, man, with a 1.1 second lead over Carl Edwards, lap 369. 1.2 seconds at lap 370. The start of the last 30. Joe Logano improved, climbing all the way up to 8th place at this time. Kevin Harvick was running 5th. Casey Kane in 4th. And then Kyle Busch held on to the lead at lap 380, which would be the last 20. And maybe Johnson was waiting to make his move because you had Jimmy Johnson in 3rd place. And could there be a green flag racing all the way to the end? Which there was. I mean, it went all the way from question 7 all the way down to lap 400 with no incidents. And then you get into the last 10. And then you had the 18 and the 19 fighting for the finish. And I really think you got to be a hardcore racing fan that watches racing to appreciate what you saw on Sunday, to get by first, to try to pass somebody on the inside when they're that far in, with trying to get around Kyle Busch there the first time, and it looked like they bumped each other, but no. But then Edwards gets behind Kyle Busch, taps him in the back. Kyle Busch bobbles a little bit, and Kyle Edwards just takes off and goes for the lead, for the finish. That was on the last lap. I mean, Kyle Edwards giving Kyle Busch a bump in the rear, getting Kyle Busch out of the way, and beelining it to the finish line. And it was one of those tingly moments where it just hits you like, wow, that was crazy. And I'm putting that one as one of the big finishes of 2016. Obviously, the biggest one is going to be the Daytona 500 when Denny Hamlin over Truex Jr. But I'm going to put this one in the list for the big wins of 2016. And my friends, that's why racing's fun, when you see stuff like that. And, but that's good, Kyle Busch wasn't too happy, but, So I saw Talladega Nights last night, and because I figured, NASCAR's heading to Talladega this weekend, and I've never seen Talladega Nights before. I was going to do a little write-up for tonight's podcast, and I was watching this movie, and I got to tell you, I'm like half and half on it. I almost turned it off midway through the movie. A couple of Pabst Blue Ribbons got me through the second half. There was a couple, silly, funny moments, but I got to ask all the NASCAR fans out there and fellow racing fans, what are your opinions on Talladega Nights? It was interesting. I don't know. I don't want to say that it was great. If you haven't seen it, there's no rush. Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Jay McMurray made a cameo in it, but they were in their cars. And, Will Ferrell, he did an alright job, but I don't know. I really thought it would be better than it was. So I'm going to leave it out to you guys. If you have seen Talladega Nights, what do you think about it? So, okay. But needless to say, NASCAR's heading to Talladega this weekend. All right. This is RP Full Throttle. We'll talk about some Xfinity, a little bit about IndyCar, and then all the good stuff. We've got driver standings and some racing news, and Kyle Petty's Ride Across America coming up next. So the Toyota Kia 250 on Saturday with the 2 heat races, and there's 2 more heat races coming up. I think the next one is Dover. So interesting. Heat number 1, of course, was the winner was Eric Jones. Well, the Dash for Cash eligibles were Eric Jones that came in first, and Brendan Poole were the first 2. And then the second 2 drivers from heat number 2, which were, I had it written down here. It's around here somewhere. I kind of like the heat races. It's interesting. And so there's 2 more heat races. The next, definitely Dover, and there's one other one, but for the life of me, I don't even remember. I'm gonna have to look it up. But so you have the 2 heat races like you had last time, which was at Bristol. But then you got to the main event, which was the Toyota Kia 250. Eric Jones takes the lead off the start, followed by Dale Jr. running second and Justin Allgaier in third. You had Eric Jones, Dale Jr., Justin Allgaier, Ty Dillon, the top 5 at lap 5. That'll be the 28, 88, the 7, the 3, and the 18. And then, now, Ty Dillon headed to the garage at lap 11. This was according to the officials of radio communication, which I always listen to while the race is going. And then you got Dale Jr. in front, who takes the lead at lap 19. So you had Jr., Allgaier, and Eric Jones, the top 3, lap 21. That'll be the double 8, the 7, and 20. Dale Jr. holding a 1-second lead over second place Eric Jones. And so now basically, so you got the 4 guys who are the Dash for Cash guys eligibles, and it basically whichever one of the 4 has the best finish wins the cash, which is like $100,000. And Dale Jr., man, 1.5 second lead over second place Justin Allgaier as he starts getting into lap traffic, and Dale Jr.'s lead grows to 2.7 at lap 70, the race halfway mark. And see, there was supposed to be 200 laps, right, or something. And they subtracted the number of laps from the 2 heat races, so actually the main event was only 140. So that was that. And so the 88, the 7, and the 20, the top 3, and no caution so far. This is like, in fact, the first caution wouldn't come out until lap 125. There was a round of green flag pit stops at lap 100. Dale Jr. doesn't go in just yet. However, he would come in at lap 101. Then you had Keselowski running second, Eric Jones in third, and still Justin Allgaier drops down the 5th. Then Keselowski takes the lead, still in the green flags pit stops. So, that's going to change very quickly as everyone comes to pit. Keselowski on Saturday was driving the 22 car. Eric Jones dropped down all the way down to 6th. Justin Allgaier was holding on to second for a little while. In fact, at lap 112, Dale Jr. still in front with a 1-second lead over second place Justin Allgaier. And they said the last Xfinity race with no cautions was August of 1998 in Michigan. However, the 62 car, Brendan Gowen brushes the wall, still no cautions, incident at turn 4. No caution, but the caution does fly at lap 125, and the 74 car of Mike Harmon spins after contact from Eric Jones. Brendan Gowen gets the free pass, and they have a restart at lap 134. Things are now going to get interesting. Brendan Poole in front after the restart, and then caution 2 comes out lap 134. So you went from 0 cautions to 2 cautions. I think there was only 3. Actually, only 2 the whole night, now that I'm checking it out. 134 would be caution number 2. The number 7 car spins after contact from the 48 car, 7 Justin Allgaier, the 48 Brendan Poole. and 3 of the 4 Dash for Cash contenders get collected. There was a whole bunch of cars. There was 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 cars. You had cold cut. So basically, these 2 cars contact each other, 7 spins, and then everybody else just gets collected. But there's Cole Custer, Justin Allgaier, Blake Koch, Ryan Reed, Jeff Green, Eric Jones, Brett Keselowski, Brennan Poole, Ross Chastain, and Ryan Ellis all got a piece. And that would be the 5, the 7, the 11, the 16, the 14, the 20, the 22, the 48, the 4, and the 97. And then you go into OT. First OT in the Xfinity Series for 2016. Dale Jr. has the lead into the restart. It was Dale Jr., Ty Dillon, Austin Dillon, Brandon Poole, and Elliott Sadler, the top 5. That would be the 8, the 33, the 2, the 1, and the 48. Justin Allgaier winds up dropping out of the race. He had the first and only green-white checkered attempt successfully, and then the white flag flies lap 148, and the checkered comes out 149. And again, the top 5, Dale Jr., the winner, Ty Dillon second, Elliott Sadler third, Daniel Suarez in fourth, and Austin Dillon fifth. And the first Xfinity win for Dale Jr. for 2016, and Ty Dillon wins the Dash for Cash. So IndyCar, they had another road race out there at the Honda Grand Prix of Alabama. The winner there, Simon Pagenaud, and not too much exciting, really. But then again, I'm starting to like IndyCar a little bit. Formula One, I'm still working on, but I'm starting to like IndyCar a little bit. So Simon Pagenaud wins this one on Sunday. Graham Rahal comes in second, Newgarden third, Will Powers fourth, and Pablo Montoya comes in fifth. Only 90 laps on Sunday with the IndyCar, and the crazy part was that they were going in question 6 into question 7 during the NASCAR race. There was like still 70 laps left. That's when the IndyCar race started. So there, I had my eyeballs on both races. I got 2 screens here, one small one, one big one. The small one's for IndyCar, big one's for NASCAR. And then I just switched over once the NASCAR race was all over. But so I like IndyCar. It's taking me a little time to get used to Formula One. They are racing this Sunday, 8 o'clock. I'm not going to be a hater. Okay. I'll respect it for what it is. But, 2 o'clock in the morning, the Chinese Grand Prix, that was killer. This Sunday, it's 8 o'clock, and they're in Russia for the Russian Grand Prix in Sochi. So it should be interesting. But this weekend, it's back to Super Speedway racing for NASCAR. IndyCar has the weekend off. Formula One, as I mentioned, goes to Russia. NASCAR heading to Talladega Super Speedway, formerly known as the Alabama International Motor Speedway, 3366 Speedway Boulevard, Lincoln, Alabama, 35096. 78,000 is the capacity, and 2.666, I rounded it off to 2.7 miles of asphalt, 4 turns, and the bankings at turns 1 and 2 is 33 degrees, turn 3 is 32.4, turn 4 is 32.5, the tri-oval at 16.5, and the back straight at 3, and of course you can have some restrictor plates on this weekend. Lap record is 44.998 seconds. Bill Elliott, Melling Racing, 1987 NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, which 1987 was still the Winston Cup. That's for people got a little crazy with people smoking. And now, ladies and gentlemen, racing fans, Racing Podcast Full Throttle proudly presents this weekend's racing schedule, and it all starts on Saturday afternoon for this weekend's Xfinity Series racing, Saturday, April 30th at 3 p.m. Eastern Time on Fox and MRN, and that's going to be the Sparks Energy 300 with 113 laps scheduled. And Sunday afternoon is this weekend's NASCAR Sprint Cup Series event, and that's going to be Sunday, May 1st at 1 o'clock on Fox and MRN, and that's going to be the Geico 500 with 188 laps. Camping World Truck Series returns next Friday, May 6th for the Toyota Tundra 250 from Kansas. Friday, May 6th at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, and some Friday night racing, and that's going to be on Fox Sports 1 and MRN. And Formula One action Sunday morning at 8 o'clock a.m. on CNBC. TV coverage beginning at 7:30, and that's going to be the 2016 Formula One Russian Grand Prix with 53 laps on tap. And so there's that. And now next weekend also is the Kentucky Derby.